Let me know if this sounds familiar. You are working in your QuickBooks file, you are working with your bank transactions in the bank feed, and you catch yourself not really knowing what to do with some of the income or with some of the expenses, or knowing if you're doing it all correctly. Should you do this or that? Well, in today's video, we are going to be working on the bank feed and teaching you a few tricks to make it a little bit easier so you can feel a little bit more confident and be comfortable working in your bank feed. So if this sounds like something you might be interested, come along for the ride. If you are new to our channel, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Katrina. My business partner Cheryl and I run and own Empower to Profit, where we focus on educating and helping small business owners not only bring in more profit to their businesses, but bring in more profit to their personal pocket to help them and their family. Because if you're not making any money off your business, then what's the purpose of it all? So come along today. I hope you find this information useful about working in your bank transactions in QuickBooks Online. So you're gonna open up your bank transaction tab here, and then this is gonna be working in our checking, savings, and MasterCard credit card. So for this example, we are going to be working in this checking account for the month of September. So in order to look at those transactions, I'm going to go ahead and filter by the month. And then it will pull up all the transactions that I need to work on in order to get everything out of my bank feed and into my software where it's reporting the numbers. Anything that's in the bank feed is yes in your QuickBooks file, but it's just in stage one. It's not being pushed to any of the reports that you're going to want to review to make those financial decisions. So these are the transactions I need to work on so I can get to the point to reconcile my reports or reconcile my accounts, which then I can use my reports. So this first one is going to be an A1 rental company. So I want to make sure that this vendor field is always filled in. I never want to leave that blank. And then this category is being utilized correctly. So this category, this is where we are going to give this transaction a home, assign it a bucket so that it's coming through correctly. Sometimes QuickBooks will try and be helpful and pre-fill this category account using an uncategorized expense, uncategorized income, or an uncategorized asset account. You never want to use these three accounts. It doesn't give you any good data towards your reports. You're just going to have to pull it open and then decide where to pull from there, which is just an additional step that you don't need to do. So you never want to use these accounts. This A1 I know is a rental expense. So I go ahead and add that. And then this Books by Bessie, her vendor is in here. I want to give you guys a little tip when you're working with contractor payments. You want to make sure that you're pulling them up here, and you can find this in the expense tab where the vendors are, and then search by name. You go to edit, and then you want to be sure that the 1099 box is clicked for end of year reporting. Just want to give you that quick tip for stuff that you're working on in your bank feed. If you do it on the front end, it makes end of the year much easier because you can just pull a report and get all of your vendors listed that way. So this is she's a bookkeeper, so we're good there. And I want to spend a little bit more time working on what it looks like when you are recording a deposit from a merchant. So let's pretend that this deposit is coming from Stripe. That's who my merchant is. Almost all of my customers or clients pay me through Stripe, so I need to record this income. It's not as easy as just confirming and adding it to your QuickBooks. You are going to see this $337 amount, but when I got paid from Stripe, my customers actually paid me $400. So I need to account for those for the full payment for my gross revenue. So I'm going to click the split transaction here, and then in your merchant, you're going to pull up that software, and then you are going to pull the report for this amount, this payout that was deposited into your bank account. should look something similar to this example here. So your gross sales was $400. So that's the amount that the customer paid to you in full. And then it's reduced by these two expenses, giving you your net income of your $337 that was deposited to your bank account. So we need to record this gross sales as your service income. And that amount is $400. So you can see here this difference of $62.50. QuickBooks won't even let me move forward with this until I fix this difference, because the software is intuitive to know that something isn't right here. So the next thing I'm going to do is record my expenses that I can see in this report. So this merchant fee is $50, so I need to record that. And then it's an expense, so I'm going to enter it as a negative. And then I have one more line, this sales tax that they paid on my behalf is going to be that $12.50, which you can now see the difference is 0, and it matches this $337.50, which is my net sales here. So everything matches perfectly. If you want, you can download the report and add it as an attachment here in case you ever do want to reference it. Not necessary, but an extra step some people like to take. Then you can go ahead and apply that income. The next thing I want to touch on is rules. Some people love using QuickBooks rules, other people's not so much. So it's completely up to you. To add a new rule, you simply click the button. You can let's just say this one is going to be Wawa gas. Money coming out. This is an expense. It's going to be a fuel. Wawa is not in there, so I would add it as a vendor. Now, this is the important part down here. This is going to be the auto confirm. Please toggle that off. I guess you can leave it on. I highly recommend not leaving it on. You want to turn that off, because when you leave it on, anytime a transaction comes through that QuickBooks recognizes as a Wawa, some kind of expense, it's going to push it through your QuickBooks and you're not going to even be able to lay eyes on it. So it's just a dangerous thing to auto confirm rules. I always highly recommend turning that off in our trainings, because it can just create chaos in the back end of the books. And it's a lot harder to clean up on the back end than it is if you just turn this off on the front end while you're setting everything up. So this will still come through your bank feed as a rule. It just won't automatically push it through the bank feed. It's going to make you confirm it that it applies to that rule or it doesn't apply to that rule. Thanks so much for joining us. If you found this video helpful, let us know by commenting below, and we can give you the link to our free QuickBooks Online course that we are now offering this fall, completely free. So let me know if you're interested and we will send that your way. And as always, cheers to profit.